1978 Lincoln Memorial Penny, no mint mark. Value, $3,900. Have you ever picked up a simple penny from your change only to realize it could be worth more than a diamond ring? Well, imagine holding a 1978 Lincoln Memorial penny that carries no mint mark. A coin that looks like every other copper piece in your pocket. Yet collectors are offering up to $3,900 for the right one. Sounds unbelievable, right? But this little coin hides a history that could shock even seasoned numismatists. Most people who handled it never knew they had a treasure resting in their palms. The story of the 1978 penny begins not in luxury or glamour, but in the everyday hum of American life. A time when copper was turning scarce, minting standards were shifting, and small details made huge financial differences for collectors decades later. The penny was struck in the Philadelphia Mint, which traditionally did not place a mint mark on its coins at the time, creating what we now call the no mint mark variety. On the surface, there's nothing unusual about this coin. It weighs about 3.11 grams. It's made primarily of copper with a touch of zinc, and it carries the familiar image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. But here's where things take a fascinating turn. A very specific batch of these coins was struck using slightly misaligned dies and overused press machinery, giving birth to subtle doubling, edge weakness, and small metal flow lines that only a keen eye can detect. These physical clues transform an ordinary penny into a small fortune. The 1978 no mint mark penny's rarity is tied to the quality variations that occurred late in the production year. During that time, mints were preparing to transition equipment for upcoming issues, and maintenance schedules were inconsistent. That means coins struck in those weeks came out with tiny differences, shifts in letter spacing, die deterioration, faint Lincoln facial details, and even tiny cracks across the surface known as die breaks. Collectors crave these imperfections because they prove the coin's authenticity and place it in a unique slot in minting history. A perfect uncirculated 1978 penny without a mint mark is already worth several dollars to collectors. But once an error enters the picture, say, a double die on "In God We Trust" or a faint ghost image around Lincoln's eye, the price skyrockets. These rare error versions have reached auctions where bidders pushed the final sale value close to $3,900, especially when preserved in pristine condition and verified by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC. The reason for this high demand is simple. Most 1978 pennies circulated so heavily that finding one without scratches, discoloration, or wear is like searching for a needle in a haystack. Now, let's talk about how to identify one of these valuable coins without fancy equipment. Start by placing the penny under a bright white light, never yellow or warm light because that can hide small details. Use a magnifying glass or even your smartphone camera to zoom in on the date, the words "Liberty" and the motto "In God We Trust." If you notice any signs of doubling, especially on the numbers 1, 9, 7, or 8, that's a strong indicator you might have a special strike. Next, tilt the coin gently side to side. Authentic copper pennies from 1978 should reflect light evenly. If the color looks unusually rich or deep red, it means the coin hasn't been exposed to air oxidation, a key condition for high value. Also check the edges. A clean, sharp edge without flattening means the coin hasn't spent much time in circulation. Some of the most valuable examples were found accidentally in inherited collections or jars that hadn't been opened for decades. So before you toss that penny into a tip jar, give it one careful look. Your discovery could be a collector's dream. When it comes to storing these coins, never underestimate the importance of proper care. The 1978 penny's copper composition reacts quickly with moisture, air, and even skin oils. That's why you should always handle it with soft cotton gloves or hold it by the edges only. Direct contact can leave fingerprints that oxidize over time, permanently staining the surface. For long-term storage, use acid-free coin flips or airtight capsules made specifically for numismatic protection. Never store your coins in PVC plastic sleeves. Those can emit chemicals that cause green residue known as PVC damage. Keep your coins in a cool, dry place, away from sunlight and humidity. A small silica gel packet inside your storage box helps absorb moisture and maintain stability. If you own multiple valuable coins, consider using a professional coin album with individual holders labeled by year and variety. This not only protects them but also adds presentation value if you ever decide to sell. Another vital detail that collectors often overlook is documentation. If you believe your 1978 no mint mark penny could be a high-value piece, take clear photos and record where and when you found it. Get it evaluated by a trusted coin dealer or send it to a grading service for professional authentication. Once graded, the coin's value becomes official and can be insured or listed in auction houses. Remember, grading agencies assign designations like MS65 Red or MS67 that directly affect price. The higher the grade, the rarer the condition, and the closer your coin edges toward that $3,900 mark. Some exceptional pieces have even been featured in coin magazines for their sharp strike and deep red luster, making them icons among collectors of Lincoln Memorial cents. One might ask, why does this particular penny matter so much when millions were minted? The answer lies in numismatic psychology. Collectors love transitional years, and 1978 sits at the end of the full copper era before the U.S. Mint switched to copper-plated zinc in 1982. That alone gives this coin a nostalgic edge. It represents the last breath of an era where U.S. coins were made with true metallic weight and craftsmanship. Add a rare error, strong strike, and lack of mint mark, and you have a combination that sparks bidding wars. For many, owning such a coin is like holding a piece of American industrial history. Tangible, compact, and yet deeply symbolic. When you hold a 1978 penny and feel its weight between your fingers, you're connecting to millions of hands that passed it along in everyday life, cashiers, students, veterans, and workers. Yet, out of those countless transactions, only a few coins managed to survive untouched, unblemished, and ready to surprise someone decades later. That's what makes coin collecting magical. It transforms the smallest details into stories of value and discovery. The next time you empty your pocket change, pause before you dismiss that brown coin. Look closer at the date, check for that missing mint mark, and imagine for a second that your 1-cent coin could be worth nearly $4,000. The thrill of that possibility is what keeps collectors searching, digging through jars and scanning rolls with anticipation. So, if you ever stumble upon a shiny 1978 Lincoln Memorial penny with no mint mark, treat it like treasure. Handle it gently, protect it from harm, and appreciate the incredible journey it has taken from the mint presses of Philadelphia to your palm today. The history, rarity, and beauty of this coin are not just about its monetary value. They're about discovery, patience, and the excitement of finding something extraordinary where you least expect it. And who knows? That simple penny sitting in your pocket might just be the one that turns your ordinary day into an unforgettable story. Next up, 1982 Lincoln Memorial penny, no mint mark. Value, $3,500. Imagine finding a single penny that looks like every other coin you've ever spent. Same color, same design, same feel. Yet it quietly hides a mystery that has puzzled collectors for decades. The 1982 Lincoln Memorial penny with no mint mark is one of those hidden treasures, and depending on which version you hold, it could be worth up to $3,500. It's not just another cent. It's a product of one of the most fascinating transitions in modern U.S. mint history. The year 1982 was chaotic for penny production, filled with confusion, change, and experiment. The U.S. Mint was facing rising copper prices, forcing them to replace the traditional solid copper planchet with a cheaper copper-plated zinc core. But the shift wasn't clean. Both copper and zinc coins were struck that year, and the differences are subtle enough that millions of people today still have no idea which type sits in their coin jars. This overlapping production, combined with missing mint marks and weight variations, created a series of valuable varieties that collectors hunt relentlessly. The 1982 no mint mark penny from the Philadelphia Mint stands out among them because some versions were made of copper, others of zinc, and identifying the right one can mean the difference between pocket change and a small fortune. Now, why is this coin so special? It comes down to the mix-up during the material transition. The Mint produced 8 major varieties of 1982 Lincoln pennies. small date and large date designs in both copper and zinc, with or without mint marks. That's right, 8 types from a single year. The Philadelphia Mint, which traditionally didn't add a mint mark, struck both the copper and zinc versions, making it a confusing puzzle for collectors. The valuable 1982 no mint mark penny is the copper small date version, which weighs about 3.11 grams instead of the lighter 2.5 grams zinc coin. But unless you weigh it or inspect it closely, you'll never notice the difference. This hidden variety is what gives the coin its fame. Many people toss them away, unaware that this blend of copper, design, and minting period created one of the most sought-after pennies of the modern age. Auction results have proven its power. Pristine examples, graded in mint state red condition, have sold for thousands, peaking near $3,500 when paired with strong eye appeal and perfect preservation. So, how can you tell if the 1982 penny you're holding is a jackpot? Start with the date. The 2 in the year is your biggest clue. In the small date variety, the top of the 8 aligns with the 1, and the curve of the 2 sits higher than on the large date version. If the numbers look slimmer and more delicate, chances are you're staring at a small date coin. Next, check the weight. Use a digital gram scale, the kind used for jewelry. If it reads close to 3.1 grams, congratulations, you've got a copper planchet. But if it's around 2.5 grams, that means zinc. Another sign lies in the color. Copper coins have a deeper, richer red tone that ages into a warm brown over time, while zinc versions look paler and often develop grayish spots. Finally, make sure the penny has no mint mark under the date. If there's a D or S, that's not the one. The true treasure is the Philadelphia strike without any mint letter. Finding the combination of copper composition, small date design, and no mint mark makes this coin exceptionally rare. The story behind this coin isn't just about numbers and errors. It's about the moment of change in American minting history. Before 1982, pennies were made of nearly pure copper, carrying real metal value close to their face value. But as inflation rose and copper prices spiked, producing a 1-cent coin started costing more than a cent to make. The Mint's solution was to switch to a cheaper core, zinc coated with a thin layer of copper. But implementing that change took time. Some facilities began the transition early, others late, and leftover copper blanks were used up before new zinc ones took over. The result was chaos. Coins of different weights, slightly altered date fonts, and missing mint marks all circulated together. That single year represents a turning point, the death of the full copper penny. And because of that, collectors treat every surviving 1982 copper coin like a relic of a lost era. The no mint mark small date penny embodies that moment perfectly, the last breath of true copper mixed with the new generation of lightweight coinage. Let's talk about value and condition, because this is where many beginners make mistakes. Even if you have the right 1982 variety, condition determines everything. Coins are graded on a 70-point scale, from worn, circulated pieces worth a few cents to mint state coins that can fetch thousands. For the 1982 no mint mark penny, anything below MS-60 is common. But if your coin shows full luster, sharp details on Lincoln's hair, and no visible scratches, you're in the elite range. Top-graded examples certified by PCGS or NGC as MS-67 Red have sold between $2,500 and $3,500 in public auctions. These coins shine with rich, fiery red copper color, untouched by oxidation or handling. Finding one in that condition is incredibly difficult because most were circulated for decades, losing their original mint glow. That's why collectors spend hours sorting through rolls, boxes, and even bank bags in hopes of discovering just one brilliant survivor. If you want to check your coins properly, follow a careful inspection process. Use natural daylight or a white LED lamp, never yellow bulbs which distort color. Hold the penny at an angle and slowly rotate it to catch light on the raised areas. Look for any die errors like doubling on Liberty or In God We Trust, which can further boost the coin's worth. Use a jeweler's loupe with at least 10x magnification. Avoid cleaning or polishing. That destroys the surface and ruins collector value instantly. Instead, lightly dust with a soft microfiber cloth if needed. Once you've identified a potential valuable 1982 penny, handle it only by the edges and never touch the faces directly. Your skin oils can stain and reduce its grade over time. Now let's move to storage, because even the rarest coin loses value if it's stored carelessly. For long-term preservation, use airtight coin capsules or acid-free 2x2 holders with clear mylar windows. Avoid plastic bags or cardboard flips that aren't archival safe. They release chemicals that damage copper. Keep the coins in a stable, cool environment. Rapid temperature changes or humidity can cause toning, corrosion, or spotting. If you're in a humid region, store your coins with silica gel packs to absorb moisture. Label each holder with details like 1982, no mint mark copper small date, and include the weight for reference. This makes your collection look professional and helps you track varieties. If you have several rare coins, invest in a small coin cabinet or a fireproof safe with climate control. The better you care for your collection, the more value it will retain in the long run. One often overlooked part of collecting is education and verification. If you think you've found the 1982 copper small date no mint mark penny, get it authenticated. Submit it to PCGS or NGC. They'll confirm its composition, strike type, and grade. A professionally graded coin not only ensures authenticity, but also attracts serious buyers when you decide to sell. Some collectors have turned small finds into four-figure profits just because they took the time to get certified documentation. Without that, buyers hesitate, and your coin's potential remains unrealized. Remember, in the coin world, proof of authenticity is as valuable as the coin itself. The 1982 penny also carries emotional weight. For many, it represents the end of an era, the last time America's smallest coin had real copper inside. When you hold one of these rare no mint mark versions, you're not just holding a piece of metal. You're holding the turning point of minting history, a link between tradition and technology. That's what makes it more than just currency. It's heritage. So next time you pour out your spare change, listen carefully to that faint clink of copper. It might just be the sound of history calling from your palm, whispering that one humble cent can still surprise the world. Next up, 1986 Lincoln Memorial Penny, no mint mark. Value, $3,100. Have you ever wondered how a single coin from your pocket change could be worth more than your entire wallet? The 1986 Lincoln Memorial Penny with no mint mark is one of those shockers that make collectors and treasure hunters sit up straight. At first glance, it looks like every other penny you've handled 1,000 times. Plain, coppery, unassuming. But within that tiny disc lies a story of precision, minting mystery, and market surprise. This coin, minted in Philadelphia without a mint mark, has fetched values reaching $3,100, turning everyday change into unexpected gold. The 1986 penny may seem too new to be rare, but the truth lies in the fine details, tiny errors, perfect preservation, and subtle production differences that only the sharpest eyes catch. It's a reminder that even modern coins can hide incredible worth when struck under unusual circumstances. To understand why this coin stands out, you have to go back to the mid-1980s, when the U.S. Mint was perfecting the zinc composition introduced in 1982. By 1986, the Lincoln Memorial design had been in circulation for decades, and minting technology had improved, but not perfectly. The mint had transitioned fully from solid copper to copper-plated zinc, which drastically changed how coins aged, reacted to the environment, and struck under pressure. Zinc coins were cheaper but more delicate. Any slight misalignment, plancher impurity, or die fatigue could produce subtle errors that slipped through quality checks. The Philadelphia Mint, which traditionally produced coins without mint marks, struck billions of pennies that year. Among them, a small number displayed microscopic doubling on letters, faint die cracks, or unusually sharp details caused by high-pressure strikes. These anomalies, paired with pristine surfaces, transformed ordinary coins into high-value collectibles. The 1986 no mint mark penny is most valuable in mint state, particularly those graded MS-67 or higher by PCGS or NGC. Why? Because coins that avoided circulation retained their original red shine, free from scratches, oxidation, or dullness. While most 1986 pennies clinked through pockets, jars, and vending machines, a few escaped untouched, stored in bank rolls, coin sets, or forgotten collections. When rediscovered decades later, their brilliance stunned collectors. A perfect uncirculated example, gleaming with full red copper color, can command thousands, especially if it shows no contact marks or discoloration. The best examples have fetched up to 3,100, proving that even a coin minted in the millions can become precious when time and condition align perfectly. Identifying a potentially valuable 1986 penny requires patience and precision. Start by checking under a strong white light. Look closely at Lincoln's face, especially his jawline and beard. Strong definition here indicates a sharp strike. Next, examine the inscriptions. Pay attention to the words, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty." If you spot faint doubling, slightly thick letters, or blurred spacing, you might be looking at a double die variety, a small minting error that increases desirability. Now turn the coin over and inspect the Lincoln Memorial. Clear lines between the columns, crisp details on the statue inside, and strong roof edges all signal minimal die wear. The brighter and cleaner the coin, the higher its potential grade. Another clue is luster. A brilliant red glow under light means it's been untouched by air for decades. Dull brown tones usually mean it has circulated or oxidized. But what about errors and varieties? That's where this coin's story gets exciting. Some 1986 pennies exhibit tiny die cracks, thin, raised lines that look like lightning streaks across the coin's surface. Others show misaligned dies, where one side is slightly off-center, leaving thicker borders on one edge. There are even examples with weak strikes, where letters appear faint due to uneven pressure. Each variation tells a story of mint machinery under stress and the human oversight that allowed these mistakes to escape into circulation. Collectors love these imperfections because they turn identical coins into one-of-a-kind pieces. Even a small die chip near Lincoln's eye, often nicknamed the drooling Lincoln error, can increase a coin's worth if the rest of the piece remains in excellent shape. Now, if you think you found something special, it's time to verify authenticity. Always start with a scale. A genuine 1986 penny should weigh around 2.5 grams, the standard for zinc-based coins. If it's significantly heavier, that's a sign of something unusual, possibly an off-metal strike, which can multiply the value. Next, inspect the edges. Smooth, even rims indicate a normal coin, but slightly raised or irregular rims might hint at striking anomalies. Once you've identified these signs, resist the temptation to clean your find. Cleaning a coin destroys its natural surface and wipes away microscopic mint characteristics that grading services look for. Even the smallest scratch from a cloth can drop a coin's grade and reduce its worth by hundreds. To store your 1986 no mint mark penny properly, treat it like the treasure it is. Use airtight holders or archival safe flips made of mylar or acrylic, never PVC plastic. Copper-plated zinc coins are notorious for developing white corrosion or zinc rot if exposed to moisture, so you must keep them in a dry, stable environment. Avoid storing them in basements or near humidity sources. Instead, place them in a drawer or cabinet at room temperature, ideally with silica gel packets to absorb moisture. Label each holder with details like 1986 no mint mark, MS red, possible double die, so you can track varieties easily. If you have multiple valuable coins, invest in a coin storage box or album that keeps each piece separated and upright. This prevents friction and accidental scratches. Remember, protection isn't just about looks. It preserves value. A coin kept pristine for decades can one day pay for a car, a trip, or more. Beyond the technical details, the 1986 penny carries emotional weight too. It represents a time when the United States Mint was balancing efficiency and tradition, moving deeper into modern coinage. It's a coin that bridges generations, old enough to feel nostalgic, yet recent enough to be hiding in someone's change jar right now. Millions of Americans grew up using these pennies, but few realized how the smallest imperfections could later become treasures. That's the beauty of coin collecting. It turns something ordinary into a story, a mystery, and sometimes a payday. If you're serious about finding one, start by searching through rolls of pennies from banks, old collections, or coin shows. Look especially for coins that seem brighter or heavier than others. The chance of discovering a high-grade 1986 no mint mark penny might be slim, but it's real, and people do it every year. Some of the most valuable finds weren't made by professionals, but by casual hobbyists who decided to look closer. The thrill of uncovering something valuable that others overlooked is what makes this hobby addictive. And when you do find one, don't rush to sell it. Get it graded by PCGS or NGC. A coin authenticated and slabbed in a clear holder with an official grade not only secures its legitimacy, but also multiplies its market value. Collectors trust certified coins, and buyers will pay a premium for documented quality. If your coin earns a grade like MS66 Red or MS67 Red, you're holding something truly special. These are the specimens that have hit auction tables and sold for up to $3,100, thanks to flawless surfaces and stunning color. Think about that. A coin once worth a single cent, now selling for thousands, simply because it survived time unscathed. The next time you spot a 1986 penny, take a closer look. Maybe the light catches it just right, and you notice its smooth edges, its perfect shine, its untouched beauty. Maybe it's one of those rare survivors that never met a vending machine or cash register. Maybe it's your chance to hold a small miracle of minting history, proof that even the humblest coin can hold an extraordinary story. So check every penny, store every find carefully, and never underestimate the power of what you might already have. Because that little 1986 Lincoln Memorial penny with no mint mark could turn your everyday change into an unforgettable fortune. Next up, 1988 D Lincoln Memorial penny. Value $2,700. If I told you that a penny minted in 1988 could be worth nearly $2,700, you'd probably think it's a joke. But the truth is, the 1988 D Lincoln Memorial penny has shocked collectors worldwide with its hidden value. Most people handle this coin daily without realizing they might be holding one of the most intriguing and valuable minting mysteries of the modern era. This little copper-plated zinc coin from the Denver Mint might seem ordinary, yet it hides microscopic clues that can turn an everyday penny into a rare collectible masterpiece. What makes this story so fascinating is not just the price tag, but the mix of precision, human error, and history that birthed this rarity. The 1988 D penny, struck at the height of modernized minting, carries secrets from an unexpected source, a design mix-up that linked it to coins from another year entirely. That's why collectors go crazy over it. A modern coin with a hidden legacy buried in its tiny details. To understand why the 1988 D penny stands out, you have to look closely at its creation. The Denver Mint, identified by the small D mint mark beneath the date, produced billions of pennies that year using copper-plated zinc planchets weighing 2.5 grams. By 1988, the minting process was largely automated and computerized, which made production fast but not flawless. That's where the magic happened. A small batch of pennies received obverse dies, front designs, from the previous year, 1989, before those dies were officially introduced. This caused a design variation now known as the 1988 D transitional die penny. On this rare coin, the portrait of Lincoln and certain lettering details come from the 1989 hub design, even though the date reads 1988. The easiest way to spot it is by examining the FG initials to the right of the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse side. On standard 1988 D pennies, those initials appear bold and sharp. But on the transitional version, the initials are closer to the base and thinner, a dead giveaway that your penny was struck using the wrong die. This tiny difference is what transforms a 1-cent coin into a 4-figure collectible. Now, why is this error so valuable? Because it's a transitional design mistake, something that happens only when the mint changes equipment or designs between years. These errors are rare since minting procedures are tightly controlled, but when they do happen, they become legendary. Collectors call them bridge coins because they link two design generations. The 1988 D transitional penny is particularly special because the Denver Mint was known for strict quality control. For such a mistake to slip through means only a handful made it into circulation before the problem was noticed and corrected. Fewer coins mean higher demand, and higher demand means skyrocketing value. In pristine, uncirculated condition, this penny has been known to sell for $2,700 or more, especially when certified by grading authorities like PCGS or NGC. Even lower-grade examples can sell for hundreds if the transitional features are clearly visible. But spotting one isn't easy. The 1988 D transitional die penny hides its secret in plain sight, requiring careful observation. Start by using a 10x magnifying glass and a clean white light source. Examine the FG initials on the reverse. They should sit closer to the base of the memorial steps and look thinner than normal. Then, check Lincoln's eye and the sharpness of his hair. On transitional dies, the portrait is more defined and the facial features have slightly more depth. Also, look for crisp edges on the date and mint mark. The small d under 1988 should appear slightly tilted or bold depending on strike strength. If everything lines up, you might be staring at one of the most fascinating modern pennies ever made. Another trick is to compare your coin side by side with a regular 1988 D penny. The differences might be small, but to a trained eye, they reveal a completely different design. Generation collectors and coin experts often say the 1988 D transitional die penny bridges two worlds, the simplicity of old engraving and the precision of modern minting. It's not just a coin, it's an era frozen in time. And like all valuable pieces, condition is king. The best examples are those that escaped circulation entirely, often found in original mint sets or rolls tucked away for decades. These coins have full red luster, no dark spots, and minimal surface marks. Grading services award such pieces designations like MS67 Red or MS68 Red, and these are the ones that have hit auction prices near $2,700 each. Grade higher adds hundreds of dollars in value. On the other hand, circulated examples, even if transitional, might only fetch $100, $300 depending on where. That's why proper inspection and preservation matter more than anything. If you believe you've found a 1988 D penny worth examining, never rush into cleaning it. Cleaning destroys its surface and reduces value instantly. Instead, handle it gently by the edges and avoid moisture or oils from your fingers. The coin's copper plating is thin. Even a light rub can expose the zinc underneath, causing dull spots or corrosion over time. For storage, the golden rule is airtight protection. Use hard plastic coin capsules or acid-free mylar flips. Avoid PVC materials at all costs because they release chemicals that damage coins over the years. Store your coin collection in a cool, dry environment with stable temperature and low humidity. If you live in a humid region, add silica gel packs to absorb excess moisture. Remember, the goal is to maintain that original red glow. The brighter and cleaner the coin, the higher its value stays. Beyond storage, serious collectors know the importance of authentication. The 1988 D transitional penny has inspired countless fakes, especially from hobbyists trying to modify standard coins. To verify yours, weigh it precisely at 2.5 grams, check the FG initials, and then compare it with certified images from official coin databases or auction sites. Once you're confident, submit it to PCGS or NGC for professional grading. They'll confirm if it's a genuine transitional die strike and issue an official slab with grade and certification number. Once sealed, your coin is protected for life, and its market value is guaranteed. A graded and authenticated coin also attracts more buyers and higher bids at auctions. The journey of the 1988 D penny is a perfect example of how tiny details create huge stories in numismatics. It's a reminder that even with high-tech minting, human oversight still leaves room for accidents. And sometimes, those accidents become treasures. Every time you hold a penny, you're holding history in miniature, design, economy, art, and mistake all blended into one copper disc. The 1988 D penny represents the mint's evolution, from manual engraving to machine precision, and how the transition between them accidentally produced a masterpiece that slipped into the world disguised as ordinary. Change. Imagine the thrill of finding one today. You're sorting through a jar of old coins, maybe ones passed down from your parents or found in an attic box. Most are dull, brown, and worth face value. But then, under the light, one penny gleams differently. You notice the small D, the thin FG initials, and the sharp detail in Lincoln's portrait. Your heartbeat quickens as you realize this could be the one, the 1988 D transitional die penny. It's these moments of discovery that make coin collecting so addictive. You don't need to be rich to start. You just need curiosity and patience. Even decades later, stories like the 1988 D remind us that not all treasures are gold or silver. Some are copper, coated in zinc, and sitting quietly in your change bowl, waiting to be noticed. So next time you come across a 1988 penny with a D under the date, take a closer look, not because it's rare by chance, but because it represents the unpredictable beauty of human creation. A small error, a brief oversight, and a moment in minting history combined to create a penny worth $2,700. Proof that even the smallest coin can carry the biggest surprise. Next up, 1997 with no mint mark Lincoln Memorial Penny, a small copper coin that most people pass over without a second glance. Could actually be hiding a secret worth up to $1,800, and that's what makes it so fascinating for collectors and treasure hunters alike. Imagine finding a penny from your spare change that looks completely ordinary, yet carries a hidden story of minting precision, rarity, and the subtle details that separate it from millions of others struck the same year. The 1997 Lincoln Memorial Penny was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, which traditionally does not use a mint mark, and that's why you'll see a clean date on the obverse under Abraham Lincoln's bust. However, not all 1997 pennies are the same. Some contain unique die varieties, slight double dies or minting errors that elevate their value from 1 cent to hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on condition and authenticity. The most valuable examples are those that remain in pristine, uncirculated condition, showing a full red copper luster that glows even decades later, untouched by circulation wear or oxidation. These coins often end up graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC, and when certified as top condition with clear details. Their auction prices can reach or exceed $1,800, a shocking figure for something so small yet so significant. To truly understand why the 1997 no mint mark penny has captured the attention of numismatists, one must look closer at how the coin was made. By 1997, the U.S. Mint was striking billions of pennies using a copper-plated zinc composition, 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper. The transition from the older bronze alloy in the early 1980s brought changes in weight and striking quality. And because zinc cores are softer and more reactive, any error during minting can create visible anomalies like die cracks, off-center strikes, or plating bubbles. These flaws, while technically imperfections, are what collectors crave the most, as they transform a common penny into a collectible rarity. In some cases, 1997 pennies have shown subtle doubling on the obverse lettering or Lincoln's eye and beard, while others display die chips that resemble small raised dots near the date or memorial columns on the reverse. Such small but distinguishable traits add character to the coin and can drastically affect its market value. If you're curious to know whether your 1997 penny might be one of these hidden treasures, start by inspecting it under bright light with a magnifying lens of at least 10x zoom. Carefully observe the word Liberty, the date, and Lincoln's eye area for any sign of doubling. Also check the reverse side for clean, sharp details within the Lincoln Memorial's columns and the words United States of America and 1 cent. Weak or distorted lettering may suggest a worn die or a strike-through error, both of which can make the coin worth more than face value. Pay attention to the color, too. If your penny still shines a bright, uniform reddish hue, it's likely been well preserved. Coins with a strong original luster and no spots or scratches always attract higher offers from collectors or dealers. When evaluating your 1997 no mint mark Lincoln penny, grading plays a crucial role in determining its worth. Professional grading services assign designations like MS, mint state, followed by numbers from 60 to 70, where MS 70 means a perfect coin with no visible imperfections even under magnification. A 1997 penny in MS 67 or MS 68 red condition can easily command several hundred to a few $1,000s at auction, depending on demand and rarity of its die variety. Lower-grade coins, while still collectible, usually fetch smaller premiums but remain a great entry point for beginner collectors. For example, an uncirculated red 1997 penny might sell for $15 to $40, while the highest-graded specimens could reach the impressive $1,800 mark that excites every coin enthusiast. Storage is another key factor in maintaining your penny's value. Copper-plated zinc coins are prone to corrosion and spotting, so they must be handled with utmost care. Always hold your penny by the edges, never touch the flat surfaces, and avoid exposing it to moisture or air for long periods. The best practice is to store coins in acid-free holders, mylar flips, or airtight capsules that block humidity and prevent fingerprints from dulling the surface. For serious collectors, a small dehumidifier or silica gel packet inside the storage box can make a big difference over the years, preserving the coin's original sheen. Never clean a coin with chemicals or abrasive cloths, as even a light cleaning can permanently damage its numismatic integrity and reduce its market value drastically. Another fascinating part of the 1997 Lincoln Memorial penny story lies in the transition toward the new reverse design that would replace the memorial in 2009. This gives the 1997 penny an added historical context. It represents one of the final decades of the classic memorial reverse, a design that honored the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., created by Frank Gasparo in 1959 to mark the 150th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. For collectors, this connection makes every pre-2009 penny more nostalgic, especially those with sharp strikes that capture Lincoln's statue visible between the columns. Holding a 1997 penny is like holding a piece of American minting tradition nearing its end, a symbol of both artistry and everyday commerce. Interestingly, some of the most valuable 1997 pennies weren't discovered immediately after minting, but decades later, tucked away in old jars, drawers, or inherited coin boxes. People who simply forgot about their saved change ended up finding rare varieties worth hundreds. This fact has encouraged a growing number of hobbyists and even casual savers to examine their coins before spending them. In today's market, where coin collecting has regained massive popularity through online videos and communities, the 1997 penny's fame continues to grow, inspiring others to check their pockets for that elusive gem. So, what makes this coin's value reach up to 1-800? It's a blend of condition, rarity, and collector demand. While billions were made, only a small fraction survived without scratches, toning, or environmental damage. Combine that with the occasional mint error or strong die strike, and you have a coin that turns ordinary change into a small fortune. Even though it's not the rarest penny ever made, the 1997 no-mint mark Lincoln Memorial penny holds a unique charm for its balance of modern design, affordability, and potential surprise value. For anyone hoping to start or expand a collection, the 1997 penny is a reminder that treasures often come in the smallest forms. Whether found in circulation or purchased through coin shows, every collector should take the time to examine this date carefully. If you discover one in excellent condition, have it appraised or professionally graded before selling. It could become one of those lucky finds that coin stories are built around. And if you plan to keep it, store it properly, protect it from the environment, and pass it on to future generations as both a piece of history and a symbol of hidden value. After all, the thrill of coin collecting lies not just in the dollar amount, but in the discovery, the history, and the realization that even a single 1997 no-mint mark Lincoln penny can turn ordinary change into an extraordinary treasure worth up to $1-800.